A CEO walked into his own wedding thinking he'd been set up with the ugliest bride in the world. But when he lifted that veil, his entire reality shattered in seconds. This is the story of Marcus Chen, a 32-year-old tech billionaire who built his empire from nothing. The guy had everything: money, power, respect. But there was one problem. His grandmother was dying, and her final wish was to see him married before she passed. Marcus didn't have time for love. He was too busy running 3 companies and closing deals worth millions. So his family did what rich families do. They arranged a marriage. Now, Marcus wasn't thrilled about this, but he loved his grandmother more than anything. So he agreed. The deal was simple. Marry a girl from a respectable family, make grandma happy, and then figure out the rest later. His parents chose Elena Rodriguez, daughter of a successful businessman who owed the Chen family a favor. Marcus never met her, never saw a photo, never even heard her voice. He was told she was educated, well-mannered, and from good stock. That's all he needed to know. But then the rumors started. A week before the wedding, Marcus overheard his cousin talking to someone on the phone. The words he caught made his blood run cold. Ugly, scarred, disfigured. His cousin was laughing about how the great Marcus Chen was being trapped into marrying someone no one else would touch. Marcus confronted him, and his cousin spilled everything. Apparently, Elena had been in a terrible accident years ago. Her face was severely burned. The Rodriguez family had been desperately trying to marry her off, and the Chens agreed because they needed this business alliance. Marcus felt betrayed. Used his own family had lied to him. They knew he would never agree if he knew the truth, so they kept him in the dark until it was too late to back out. Canceling now would humiliate both families and break his grandmother's heart. He was trapped. For the next 6 days, Marcus spiraled. He barely slept. He couldn't focus on work. All he could think about was walking down that aisle to marry a stranger he'd apparently been tricked into accepting. He felt shallow for caring about looks, but he also felt manipulated. This wasn't just about appearance. This was about trust, about being lied to by the people who were supposed to have his back. The wedding day arrived. Marcus stood at the altar in his custom suit, jaw clenched, hands shaking slightly. The grand ballroom was packed with 300 guests, crystal chandeliers, white roses everywhere, a string quartet playing softly. It should have been beautiful. Instead, it felt like a funeral. His funeral. The doors opened. Elena walked in, her face completely hidden behind a thick lace veil that covered everything from her forehead down to her chest. She wore a long-sleeved wedding dress with high lace collar, gloves, everything covered. Marcus's stomach twisted. To him, it confirmed everything. They were hiding her, making sure no one could see until it was too late. She reached the altar, stood across from him. He couldn't see her eyes through the veil, couldn't see anything. Just this ghostly white figure that represented everything wrong with his life right now. The officiant started talking, but Marcus heard nothing. His mind was racing. How do you spend your life with someone you were forced into? How do you look at them every day knowing you were manipulated? The officiant finally said the words, "You may now kiss the bride." Marcus hesitated. His hands were shaking as he reached for the veil. This was it, the moment of truth. He lifted the fabric slowly, preparing himself for the worst. And then he saw her face. Time stopped. Marcus forgot how to breathe. The woman staring back at him wasn't disfigured. She wasn't scarred. She was absolutely stunning. Porcelain skin, bright green eyes that seemed to look right through him, high cheekbones, full lips. But it wasn't just her beauty that shocked him. It was the expression on her face. She looked terrified. Tears were streaming down her cheeks. Her lower lip was trembling. And in that moment, Marcus understood. She had been told the exact same lies about him. Later, after the ceremony, after the reception where they barely spoke, Marcus and Elena finally found themselves alone in the hotel suite that had been prepared for them. They sat on opposite ends of a couch, the weight of everything crushing down on them. Elena spoke first. Her voice was soft but clear. "I need you to know something. I was told you were hideous. They said you had been in a car accident that left you disfigured. They said you were desperate to marry anyone who would have you, and my family owed yours a debt. So I had to agree." Marcus stared at her. The same lie, the exact same lie, just reversed. "But why?" Elena continued. "I cried for a week, not because of how you supposedly looked, but because I was being sold off like property. I have a degree in architecture. I had dreams, plans, and suddenly, I am being dressed up and paraded down an aisle to marry a stranger. I was taught to pity." Marcus felt something crack open inside his chest. "I was told the same thing about you, that you were burned, scarred, that your family was desperate to marry you off." They sat in silence, processing this. Someone had deliberately lied to both of them. But who? And why? Over the next few hours, they talked. really talked. They compared notes, trying to piece together who knew what and when. Turns out, the rumor about Elena came from Marcus's cousin, David, the guy who stood to inherit a portion of the family company if Marcus didn't produce an heir. And the rumor about Marcus came from Elena's uncle, who had been trying to arrange a different marriage that would benefit him financially. Two people, working separate angles, spreading separate lies, both hoping to sabotage this union for their own gain. Neither expected Marcus and Elena to actually go through with the wedding. They thought the couple would meet beforehand, discover the deception, and call it off. The resulting scandal would damage both families and create opportunities for David and the uncle, but Marcus and Elena never met before the wedding. The lies never got confronted, and now here they were, married, sitting in a hotel room, realizing they had been pawns in someone else's game. Marcus looked at Elena, really looked at her. So what do we do now? We're legally married. Our families got what they wanted. Elena met his eyes. There was something fierce in her gaze now. The fear was gone, replaced with determination. We make them regret it. We stay married. We build something real, and we cut out every single person who tried to manipulate us. That night, they made a pact. No divorce, no annulment. Instead, they would turn this arranged disaster into the greatest partnership either family had ever seen, and they would do it on their terms. Over the next year, Marcus and Elena became unstoppable. She brought her architectural vision to his tech companies, designing office spaces that increased productivity by 30%. He invested in her dream of starting her own firm. Together, they launched 3 new ventures that doubled the Chen family fortune. They also systematically removed every toxic person from their lives. David was caught embezzling and removed from the company. Elena's uncle was exposed for fraud. Both families learned a hard lesson about manipulation. But here's the thing. Somewhere in all of this, something unexpected happened. Marcus and Elena fell in love. Not the fairy tale kind. The real kind. Built on respect, trust, and shared trauma. They learned each other's habits, morning coffee preferences, favorite books, the way Elena hummed when she was concentrating, the way Marcus rubbed his neck when he was stressed. 2 years after that wedding, Marcus's grandmother passed away peacefully. Her last words to Marcus were, "I knew you would find your way." He didn't have the heart to tell her the whole messy truth, that he had been tricked, manipulated, and forced into the best thing that ever happened to him. The wedding that started as a trap became the foundation of an empire. The veil that was meant to hide supposed ugliness revealed something much deeper. Beauty, yes, but more importantly, it revealed a partner, an equal, someone who refused to be a victim of circumstance. If this story taught you something about judging situations before you know the full truth, hit that subscribe button, because the next video is even crazier.